Nathan, this conversation feels very timely following the recent unfortunate assassination of Charlie Kirk in the USA. What have you made of this event and perhaps more importantly, the aftermath of it?
It is an escalation to a degree, but in many ways it seems very much a continuation of the division we've been seeing for a while. And you can see that more clearly in the response, the reaction, than in the event itself. We're still asking a lot of questions at the time of this recording, at least, about motive, background, who was involved, this and that. And I don't want to speculate on that. But as far as the release from the more obvious cheering at the assassination of a political figure, of someone who was just a speaker, and what that sort of entails, to these things that may seem innocuous, where people will try to claim a moral high ground from the event. So on the right, we have these occasional declarations you'll see about violence from the left, or this is what the left is building to, we're the good guys sort of things. And not that this is all throughout the right, but in pockets. Whereas on the left, you will see these things that, well, look at all these denouncements by top officials, and it is the right that is inflaming the problem, and they're the cause. And it gets into a question that I don't think a lot of people are asking, which is, who are these political messages for? And as you boil down into it, and this is a big, big theme of my book, we are speaking to our bubbles more and more over the last few decades. We've sort of come to a point in talking about politics where we so readily assume, oh, anyone who disagrees with us is tuned out, that we're not trying to persuade anymore. We don't know how to persuade anymore. We just want to rile people up. For media, the reality is that works. For politicians trying to win elections, the reality is that's been working for quite some time. And so getting into a mindset where you are empathizing with people, you are appealing to their better judgment and better reason to make arguments for why they should think differently, is something of a lost art on some level. And on some level, I think with the social media age and its unlocking of this broader discourse, it's something many of us haven't realized or ever had access to historically. And there's actually some opportunity for growth in that. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Well, we'll dig into it a bit more, but yeah, I think that the aftermath of it, as you said, this sort of moral high ground, that both sides, it's a strange place because I've seen, obviously, if we're going to divide it right and left for the sake of this conversation, most of the people on the left, almost all of them, are going to be condemning what happened, as any decent human is. There's a very, very small minority that aren't. And what I've seen on the right side is that they pick out that absolute minority and then claim that the left is laughing about it and stuff. And it's the two very extreme ends of the ideologies, right?
Yes. It is. The one thing I will add to that is, rather than the right is sort of picking out this small minority, the minority picks itself out to a degree. It's very outspoken, it's very vocal, and it's overrepresented. And the same can be said about the response, where the loudest voices tend to be the most extreme voices, oftentimes. And a thing we really overlook within the dynamic of social media discourse is these are people who are very often troubled, who have a parasocial or deeply unhealthy relationship with politics. It may well be that that is the type that was involved in this assassination and involved in a number of other acts of political violence, these are people who take it too far, who speak out so much louder than everyone else, so much faster than everyone else. While many of us are waiting for facts to come out, the people with the most rapid judgments, they already know what they believe, and they tend to be the first.